Hello, my Zentangle friends. Welcome to Not Perfect Zen and day 13 of Inktober Tangles 2021. I hope you're doing well. And today's tangle is Spynes by Heidi K. And she is a CZT. And I do have several versions of her pattern on this page. I saw this pattern when she first showed it on social media, and I've honestly never tried it until now. So that's why I appreciate the Inktober Tangles and the challenge to do patterns that I haven't done before. Excuse me. I encourage you to if you have a Facebook account, there is a group called Square One Purely Zentangle. And if you join that group, there are so many awesome things that they do and share. And the person that runs that group is Chris Titus, and she puts a new challenge out every week. And when this pattern first came out, she put a challenge to people to draw that. And that's where I got a lot of my ideas, is going through the Square One Purely Zentangle photos and finding what other people from that group had done. So this is the basic pattern. And then these are a couple of ideas that I got. I think both of these were variations from Heidi K. Just to show you that you don't have to do just spikes. And if you do spikes, you can do things with those spikes. You could use other patterns instead of the spikes. And I put this one down here because I've seen on several tiles how people take this and put it in a corner of a tile, and it makes it look like sunshine on their corner of their patterns. Anyway, let me give you just a brief idea of how this pattern works. And we are using the Micron 01, a graphite pencil, and a blending stump. Okay, I thought I had two pieces. So basically, for the pattern, I initially thought I was going to have to draw a spiral, which I am not good at drawing spirals. But you don't. You start with the very beginnings of a spiral in the center, and you can make this as big or as tight as you want. And I find I do better going in clockwise direction. You take yours, whatever direction feels best for you. Okay, so before I get this curve too far past where I began, I'm going to go ahead and put my first spike. Okay, and then I'm going to come up a little bit and add another spike and another one here. Okay, and now I go back. Okay, I do have a tendency of not completing my lines. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. So now we're going to go back to our spiral, and it's going to go behind. And then I'm just going to continue going in this direction, trying to keep it kind of even spacing. Keep going. And again, we're going behind that spike. and keep our spiral going. All right, now that I've got those and I'm back to that beginning one, I'm going to go back to these auras that I added, or part of the spiral. I'm not sure what you'd call this. Go back to the line of the spiral and add some more spikes. Okay, so now that I've got that, I could add another spike here, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and do another spiral. Keep it going. It's definitely good for you to keep turning your tile. And see, doing it this way, I end up with a fairly evenly spaced spiral, where when I'm trying to do the pattern Marisu or just create a spiral, it's hard for me to keep it even as I turn and draw. Okay, so we're back to about the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and add a spiral here. There's no rules as far as how many spikes to put, how to space them, how tall, how small, how fat, how skinny. It doesn't matter. It's like Heidi says, this pattern can grow with you. Do it however you would like to do it. Okay, so that's it. Basically, you're just going to keep going in those spirals. If you want to end it, then I'm going to start coming in this direction still, and just a little bit at a time, I'm going to make the outside of my spiral start coming in, and then I'm going to end it. Okay, so that's it. Sometimes I go back and add something in the center of this. That's just my preference. But again, you can make this as big or as small as you want. Like I did here, you could put it in a corner. With this, I have a note here that I use pastel chalk pencil, General's pencils, to add color to this. On this one, I added an aura inside the original spiral. And on this one, which is the basic pattern, I just put a little bit of shading on the inside of that spiral ring. Right. So this is my 4-inch by 4.5-inch tile that goes into my Inktober binder. And so I'm going to show you a version that I played with that I like. So I'm going to start in the center. And again, I like going clockwise. I've found that that works best for me. And I'm going to make kind of, I don't know, almost looks like a flame, doesn't it? Kind of a leaf shape. And then I'm going to put just a line and a dot inside that. Remove a little bit and do the same thing. Again, you can make these as large or small, skinny, fat, however you'd like to do it. Make it yours. For the ones that I'm drawing on my tiles, I'm not coloring them. Okay, so now I'm going to go behind and continue drawing my spiral line. And just When you're going behind, just pretend you're making that line and then put your pen down and then continue. Draw in the air, put your pen down. And then just take your time. When I try to go fast, that's when mine doesn't look good. If you watch videos where Rick Roberts works on a tile, try going that speed. I love how he takes his time. Okay, so I've gone all the way back around to that beginning leaf. So I'm going to come back in here and add a few more. I had fun doing this one. I like how it looks. And like I said, if you happen to go to the Square One Purely Zentangle Facebook group, I don't know if you know, but once you get into a group like that, if you go back up to the search at the top, you can put in a word like Spynes, the Spynes, and it will bring up all the posts that mention that word spine. And like I said, she had a focus on that one week. So that really helped me with some ideas to try. All right. I'm going to add some more little petals here. And on each of these tiles during Inktober, I'm only going to have one pattern, except that I may possibly on some days add some enhancements, and I consider tipple to be an enhancement. I have seen these insides filled with other patterns like tipple or shattuck. And when I'm finished with these videos, I do plan to do some tiles that use combinations of the Inktober Tangles. And I may even come back on some of these tiles and do some extra on them. Okay, I'm going to go right behind this one. And go ahead and add another just to show you that you can do that. If it lines up that way, it's okay. You can choose to do that or move it to a different place. the pattern Marisu is a spiral. So I have seen some where people come back and put those lines as if this is Marisu also. Okay, I'm going to keep going just a little bit more. You could, if you wanted, make this spiral come out a little wider. I'm going to keep mine about the same just to finish this up. I think at the top of this, I'm going to finally bring this back around and down, like I showed you on that initial demo. Okay, so I'm going to curve it down. So it's getting closer. I think I'll have it end there. All right, so that is Spynes, but instead of using the spikes, I've used little leaves. And now I'm going to go back in from the center, and for shading, I'm going to add graphite on the inside of the spiral line all the way around. And then I'm going to add a little bit of graphite at the bottom of each of these leaves where they connect. And this is where I used the pastel chalk pencils on the page that I did for the demo. I wasn't sure about this pattern when I first saw it, but now I like it. I like it like this. And I would have fun putting some other patterns inside of here. And this would work well on any tile. Okay, just continuing to add a little bit of graphite on the inside of each of these. Looking for any that I've missed. Okay. All right, now I have my blending stump, and I'm just going to soften that gently all on the inside. And I'm not going to pull it down very far. Hope that if you're watching all of these, that you're enjoying this as much as I am as far as learning these new patterns. It gives me confidence because I'm always one to tell myself that I'm not going to be able to do it as well as the ones that I see other people do on their tiles. But that's the comparanoia part that we need to drop. Don't compare. Just appreciate what others have done and learn from it. And use what you've learned to create your own tile. And then just appreciate your own work. Appreciate the artist that you are. We're each different. And it's meant to be that way. If everything was exactly the same, then we wouldn't appreciate what we have. If it was all perfect, as in being done in a computer program, then I really don't think we would appreciate what each artist is able to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think you know what I mean. Don't compare, just love the artist inside of you. I put a post on Facebook and Instagram about that this morning, so it's really on my mind. Telling myself to not compare and to appreciate my own work. All right. What do you think? I think I like it. All right, so I'm going to add my chop, and I always struggle with where to put it. I'll just go ahead and put it down here on the bottom. All right, so there's 5 different ideas for spines. And I will zoom in a little bit. Whoops, sorry. So that you can see it a little more detailed. Spynes by Heidi K. And this is just a few ideas of what you can do with this pattern. Thanks for joining me again. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not. I really appreciate being able to share this with all of you, and I hope that you'll join me again. Be well, be safe. See you next time. Bye.